All right, so here we go in starting uh, the course. One thing I will tell you is I do not go specifically through every point of these PowerPoint presentations. This is an asynchronous course, which means that you get to do things within that 1 week period on your own time. So what I do is I highlight some of the important information about what you guys need to know. But you do have the PowerPoint presentations on Canvas, so you can go and find the answers to the questions on quizzes and exams. But I do go ahead and give you a little bit of a summary of the topics that you do need to comprehend for this course. It's about anywhere you will see every week, anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. If I was to go through the whole thing, I mean, we'll be looking at lectures up to hours and 45 minutes, which is what you guys get when you go on a face-to-face class. But I do strongly believe that uh, it is better if I just give you a summary of what you guys need to comprehend, what the assessment for this week covers, and you guys can actually, at your own time, on your own way, just uh, go through the PowerPoint presentation and get the details. And if you have any specific questions about something you do not understand, please do not hesitate to email me with a specific question, and then I will either reply to you on the email with an explanation, if that is what it takes, or we can actually have a Zoom meeting, and I will go over whatever uh, information you require. I think that's in the 24 years of experience teaching. I think this is the best way to um, deliver instruction to students. Some of you will understand things a little bit better and easier than others, and this way I can cater to anyone who doesn't understand um, a specific concept that needs to be understood for testing. So this will take about 10 minutes. Like I said, I'm just summarizing. So we start with an introduction to what is life. Biology is the study of life, and so we look at the different aspects of life. So if you guys, so for this module, you are responsible to cover material in the book or the electronic version of the book on Launchpad, um, or I'm sorry, Mastering Bio, from all chapter one, and then chapter two all the way to section 2.4. So in chapter one, you have, let's go here, you have basically on the headings, you will find um, questions and statements that will make sure you understand when we refer to life or the study of life, what is it that we're looking at, we're studying. So you start with 1.1 here, um, the opening question of what you are going to be studying in this course is it life? So what is life versus what is life, biotic versus abiotic? So it just goes over the study of science, I mean, the scientific study of life. What does it have? So it goes over order, energy, and matter. So it goes over all of the concepts. If you guys want to know everything or be or study life, it goes over all the aspects of what it constitutes to study uh, life, which is what biology specializes: reproduction, growth, and development of living organisms out there. Not only that, you have to look at how do they interact with their environments. Evolution is an important subject. We're just going to mention it here. And what I will tell you right now is that biology is based on the theory of evolution. So evolution which is a little bit of a controversial subject. We'll talk about that later. Um, is the foundation of this subfield of biology, or the study of biology. So a lot of the things that we actually know about living organisms, they are somehow, or they have been discovered with related or following a little bit this theory of evolution. Um, with knowing what is life, we actually look at some things out there that we think, or that some people, the general public, they think they are alive, but they're not really alive because they do not have all of these characteristics that you guys looked at. And we're talking about viruses. Viruses, as you guys know, and we were to experience in 2020, they're considered to be very powerful, but they're not living organisms, and they're not living organisms because they cannot reproduce on their own. Viruses, as you will read and how you understand, in order to reproduce and do what they do, they had to hijack the molecules of living cell in order to be able to replicate and do what they do, as we experience on the 2020 pandemic. Once you understand what is life and what is not life, you go on to looking at how is life studied and and life can be studied at many different levels. We can go from the molecular to the global, or the biosphere, as you can see there. This is, we can look at life at the uh, biosphere level, which it consists of all life on Earth. And we can go ecosystem, and if we continue, you will read a little bit more about that. Community, organisms. So you can look at life just looking at a single organism. You can look at life looking at the organ system, tissue that makes organ, or the molecules that make the tissues, or the atoms that make the molecules. So those are called the hierarchical level of organization on how life is studied, and so you can go over every single one of them, and then know um, at the different levels on how life is studied. One thing I will tell you, in this course, we're going to start looking at life we're going to start at the molecular level. So chapter 2, which you should go into as soon as you finish this, it starts at the molecular level. So how do we study life? When we actually decide which level we're going to look at, how do we study? Well, as scientists, scientists are curious people, and they always start with a question. So the study of a scientific phenomenon, it starts with a question. And then, as you can see here on this section, you're going to actually look at how science is studied. And I mean, if I go over the details, it will take long, but you will actually look at uh, how everything, or almost everything, relates to science. You can have a scientific explanation for almost everything out there. And I say almost because there are things that there are no scientific explanations for, and so the details are in here. I'll let you guys read about that, and if you have questions, email me back. Once again, evolution is an important uh, part of the scientific, of biology, if you will. And so, like I say, there's an introduction of how evolution plays a role in as a unifying thing for biology. It just gives you an introduction, and you see it's just one slide, and then we'll come back towards the end of the course to comprehend a little bit more how science plays this role. But just going really quick over this, the how do you study science? You know, um, we got it. You guys looking here the scientific method. If there is an order, so you start with an observation, follow with a question. Based on that question, you educate yourself. You make an educated guess, which is a hypothesis, and then you create the experiment based on the hypothesis. You collect the data, and then based on that data, you draw a conclusion whether either supports or doesn't support the hypothesis. And I'll let you guys read on the details on how the hypotheses are made, etc., etc. And of course, the quiz will have questions about that. Um, and then finishing up this chapter, and you guys look, I'm going through it rather quickly. It goes over the different ways on how to organize the experiments in order to get that data to either support or not support the hypothesis. And that's what the rest of this chapter is all about. It goes over how to analyze that data and how to utilize it to, once again, support or not support the hypothesis. So like I said, if you guys have any questions about this particular chapter, you guys need to email me back with a specific topic that you want me to go over, and I will actually email you back, or if it's something that requires a little bit of more deep explanation, then we'll talk about it. Now for chapter 2, just really quick, chapter 2, like I said, we're going to start looking at this biology from, we're going to start looking at it from the molecular level. So you get to actually look at the smallest unit of matter, which are the atoms. And this is a little bit of chemistry. This is all the chemistry, a little bit of chemistry we need to understand in order to understand biology. So you start looking at the smallest unit of matter, which are the atoms, and so what the atoms are made of, the subatomic particles, which are protons, neutrons, and electrons, and they tell you how they work, how do they actually work within the atoms, so that the atoms will react with each other to make the matter that make up living tissue. So if we're going to be experts on life, we need to know how living tissue is made. And so it goes over a few chemical reactions, nothing too deep. It's not like chemistry, but it's just basic chemistry that you guys need to know in order to understand about everything about living tissue. It goes over the periodic table, the elements that make up living tissue. Out of all of the elements on the periodic table, there is carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, and oxygen. Those are the 4 elements that are most abundant. And then it goes a little bit on over the chemical bonds that are created to actually make the living tissue that we're going to actually be looking at for the rest of the course. And so you go all the way to point 4. The quiz number 1 has questions all the way to point 4, which is actually comparing the different chemical bonds. And the reason why you need to know about chemical bonds, just to let you know, because you say, well, I'm studying biology, how come I need to know all this chemistry and specifically chemical bonds? Well, as you will see on the next week, on the next section, we're going to start about the properties of water. Let me see if I'm correct. 2.5 should be open up the properties of water, and you will see that the way water molecules bond with each other play a very important role on how water becomes a very important, or the molecules of water or the substance of water becomes a very important, necessary substance for life. So we depend, we living organisms, or not we, but all living organisms depend a lot on water. Water is very important. Chemical reactions and a lot of other aspects of life, water molecules are very important. Well, I hope that I mean, this is the longest one that